Kuroo prided himself on being top of his chemistry class, aced every test. He learned any new subject effortlessly. He was untouchable in this subject. Until, of course, you came along. You loved science. Micro, anat and phys, biology, geology, and physics. But your favorite part was chemistry. Your Bible was the periodic table. So when you got into Kuroo's chemistry class, you dethroned him by barely even lifting your finger. This hurt his pride. He tried to keep up with you, but it was no use. No matter how hard he tried, no matter how hard he studied, you were always 4 steps ahead of him. He hung his head in shame when he had missed 2 questions on the test. He was frustrated. The more obsessed he became, the more sloppy his work got. He made the simplest of mistakes. So one day he decided that he was going to talk to you and tell you off.
Hey! You stopped putting things in your bag and you turned to look at him. Chemists do it on the table periodically. Why did I just say that? That's so awkward. I don't even like her. You giggle slightly in reply. If I had to be an enzyme, I'd choose to be DNA helicase, so I can unzip those genes. He was in shock. But you left after saying your pickup line. In practice, he was easily distracted. Kenma was becoming worried. Hey, Kuroo, are you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm just tired, that's all. As Lev interrupted, is it because the girl in your chemistry class? Kuroo's expression changed just for a second. He knew if he did any more than that, the team would dissect him until they found out. He couldn't let them know who you were. They would hunt you down and harass you. He couldn't let that happen. Who? Kenma asked. Lev replied, The girl he's always looking at? He barely listens to the lectures, he just watches her. Kuroo, is this true? Kenma questioned. I have no idea what he's talking about. He's not even in my chemistry class. That's not true. I have teacher aide that hour, and I help your chemistry teacher from time to time. Luckily, before he had to explain himself even further, it was time to get ready for another set. He was infatuated with you, and you were calm in class, but the more he watched you, he realized that you were a total goofball. You were constantly making funny faces, tapping, and humming the most beautifulest of songs. He loved your hair, everything about it, the color, the cut. You were so pretty and smart. Dang, could you be any more perfect? He could have anyone in the school. Almost everyone was throwing themselves to be in a relationship with him. But the only one he wanted was you. He finally got the courage to go with you and finally tell you how he felt about you. As he walked up to you, he forgot what he was going to say. Everything was just mindless static when you looked at him. His whole world shifted to you. Your piercing eyes felt as if you were comforting his soul.
Hi.
He stuttered out. Hi. There was a silent, awkward moment. Can I help you with something? You questioned. Oh, yeah, I just wanted to see if you wanted to come to my practice. He asked, rushed, like he was going to lose your attention if you didn't say anything every minute. I'm sorry, I'm just not really into sports, you replied. Oh, well, do you want to hang out after? I know a really cool cafe, down the street from the park. It's really nice. It has a lot of drinks. We could just study and do homework. It'll be my treat. Sure. Sounds interesting, you replied quietly. Cool, he said, not knowing what else to say. Can I have your number so I know where to meet you up at? Oh, yeah, silly me, he choked out. After that, he went to his next class. He texted you before school ended to meet him at the opening of the gym at 5. They should be done by then. You texted him calmly, okay. You were really nervous. One of the most popular people in your school wanted to hang out with you and even flirted with you, right? That's what it was, right? He was flirting with you? What were you going to do if you liked him? Do you like him? Well, of course you do. You wouldn't have agreed to this otherwise, right? You need to calm down. You were quite flustered. You didn't know what type of person he was into. You walked over to the gym on campus. As you walked closer, you began to hear the shoes of the players hit the hardwood floor and the loud squeaks, accompanied by the thuds of the balls hitting the floor. You had arrived earlier than you expected, about 15 minutes. You waited until it was 5:10. At this point, you decided just to walk in. When you did, the whole team had stopped playing and began to look at you. You managed to stutter out, hi? After that, they took it as an opportunity to pounce. They all rushed up to you asking a million questions. Have you ever played? Can you do sets?
Are you here to
Are
watch?
you here to
You're
watch?
gonna
Setter,
love it
ace,
here.
or blocker?
You should help me with my setup.
You should help with practice. Help me do some
spike
netballs
balls?
for me. They didn't let you finish one question before a million others cut in until a tall boy spoke up. Aren't you the girl in Kuroo's chemistry class? He never stops looking at you. Your face went red after hearing that statement. I guess? Kuroo came out of the locker room after changing, only to see you swarmed by the team. He looked on his phone and sighed. No wonder you came in. He was late. He rushed over to you and moved you outside and closed the door once you were out. You could hear him talking. You really couldn't hear what exactly they were talking about. As you tried to listen closely, the door opened and Kuroo walked out. The guys behind him interrupted into a loud cacophony of cheers. After he closed the door behind him, you could hear muffled voices behind it. Hey, he said quietly. Hi, you responded. Sorry I was late. I didn't realize practice was gonna run this late. You giggled at his bashfulness, and in a light-hearted tone replied, Ready to start the date? You're not mad? Why would I be mad? You love the sport, so I don't want to stop you from doing what you love. Besides, your team seems like a fun bunch. You are understanding, cute, and smart. Could he ask for a better person to go on a date with? On your way walking to the cafe, you two talked about the things you loved about chemistry. Balancing equation, labs with specific materials like sodium, favorite base and acid, the types of bonds, laughing at each other's chemistry jokes. He was able to keep up with all your jokes and references. All your favorite TV shows he understood. Not a single thing you brought up went over his head. No one you had ever met was able to understand some of the things you said. You would say something, he would he would either make a witty comment about it or make a reference himself. Once you were inside the cafe, you two sat down and started working on some classes. It was nice, even though you weren't working at your normal pace. Working on homework together was quite fun. Drinking some drinks on a nice chilly day, ordering different drinks that neither of you have either tried, and rating them together. As the waitress gave you the check, she quipped, "I love seeing young couples. I wish the best for you two." Your blush on your face could be compared to a tomato. Um, Thanks so much for taking me out. No problem. Can I walk you home? Uh, yeah, sure. I'd love that. It was kind of awkward walking home. You always thought him to be confident and very self-assured, but I guess everyone gets nervous. This is my house. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow at school? Yeah, definitely. In the morning, he walked to his class, all giddy. He couldn't keep his eyes off you. So when he heard that you had a group project and that you guys got to pick your partners, he jumped at the opportunity to be partners with you. Hey, do you want to be partners? Yeah, sure. What do you want to be the topic? We could do different common catalysts or types of atom bonds. Let's do the different types of chemical bonds. Okay. Sounds kind of boring and basic, but let's try to make it interesting. Well, I was thinking that maybe we could talk about ions also, since that is kind of with that. That's true. What time would you be free to work on this? Like, what's your schedule? I have like a few more classes, but then I have practice at 4. Okay. Well, I'll get us a head start. Meet at the same cafe? Actually, why don't you just come to my practice? You can watch or get a head start on the project. Are you sure your coach would be okay with that? Yeah, it should be fine. Come meet me at the gym at 4, okay? As you open the door and walk in, most of the boys really didn't notice you at first. Like, the first time you came in. You sat down on the sidelines. Once the practice game was over, Kuroo came over to you. Would you like to say something, team? All the boys had lined up in front of you and in unison bowed and apologized. Uh, what are you apologizing for? Well, we kind of bombarded you with a lot of questions and might have accidentally pressured you into becoming our manager. Now, would you like to introduce yourself? Kuroo talked to the team. One by one, they came up to you and introduced themselves by name, grade, and position. After they had done that, Kuroo asked, do you want me to leave early? We can go and work on the project. After thinking about it for a minute, it's fine. We can work on the project later. Besides, I think I'll like it here. I might even have to become the manager. You winked at Kuroo and walked towards the net.